Good evening. Today is the 11th of April and here we are at Heath Classic Car Club's inaugural Thursday evening meeting. Normally it's not light enough to do these until about April, and here we are. One of the Sunday meetings has been switched to Thursday evening, which is fine. I don't have an awful lot of light, so I will keep this relatively brief. There's also not as many cars as would be on a normal Sunday. The next one of those is on the 28th. I will be there. Do apologise in advance if I fall over, if I get things wrong, if there is incorrect information. That's just the way it goes on this channel. So we'll start off with this 82-83 Mark I Golf GTI. What are these interesting wheels on it? I can't quite see. It's a Zender or something. What's that say there? I can't read that. Something. Fair to say. Sorry if the phone vibrated just then. It is on aircraft mode. It shouldn't do that, but it just does anyway. Oh my gosh. Wagen Wheels. Puns like that, they kind of affect my brain, viewers. The car's very nice though. That looks really good. Actually, it looks good on those wheels as well. That is superb. Oh, we've got some more superb stuff coming in. There's actually two of these here already, these stags. We'll go over to the mini section as well, because the pickup Pete is here. This very late mini pickup, Mini 95. Dummy, I'm not sure is here today. But yes, 81, 82. Mini Rose is here. It's a local plate as well, a TP, wow. Yeah, old local plate to the area. Sort of from an F, so 88, 89, having successfully done there. And we've got a much older one, there's Mark II, it says in the back. This is, I think, a 69, very late Mark II Cooper S with a 1275cc engine. Gosh, that's spectacular, isn't it? That one's a Morris. And then we've got the Mark III Mini here. Seems every single show, I think, on the L with the 90s Cooper front seats and the lime flower rear seats. It's Mini 1000, 72, 73 on an L. And then we've got a midget as well over here. But my eye's being drawn to this Metro. For some reason, when I come to a lot of shows at the moment, I'm really drawn to things like Metros, Mitros and Montegos. And here is a Metro City that's just had some new wheel trims to it. This is after they took the Austin name off these cars in about 1987. So it just says Metro on it. Rover badges on it, but these were never marketed as Rovers. That came on in 1990. And Austin Rover, the company, disappeared by 1988, so it's just a Metro and that's all. If you looked in the brochure for Rovers in 88, 89, it would be in there, but they are not Rovers. They're never called that. And so you just call them a Metro. With a badge like a Rover one, which for sale, so it's an 88, so it's £850. I didn't realise it was no budget reviews money. Oh, gearbox, yeah, drops out the second, yeah. Problem with these is you've got transmission in sump, so the gearbox and the engine are kind of sort of related in other ways that aren't on normal cars. And yeah, they can be a bit finicky, these transmissions in sump. But it looks quite nice. The bodywork's actually really good on this. It looks really good. It's not one of the very late 3-doors, which have the fuel filler cap moved up to about here, which I have driven one of those, an 89 Metro Mosaic, but it's quite a late one. It's got £850. If you can sort the gearbox out and suspension, that's going to need the hydrogas sorting out. That would be quite good. So there we go. Ooh, and we've got a car that I think is coming up on the channel soon. 1964 Citroen DS 19, registered in Johannesburg. I have driven this. I drove this recently. Unfortunately, one of the chrome trims is missing from the front headlamp there. But this is on the list. What was on the list as well is that MGB there, which has a V8 engine in it. It's not an official MGB GT V8. It's had a 4.6 in it, and that thing is an absolute animal, that thing. I don't really want to drive that again because I think it would go wrong. So for some of the same collection, these cars are not as easy to drive as you think they are. They're a bit of a pain, but we'll go into that in a bit more detail when I actually get round to properly doing a review on it. And then we've got this. This car is with the original owner. He got it in 2008 when they started doing a continuation run of MGTS. This is the LE 500 edition. There was also a different model, I can't remember what they were actually called now, with the N series engine, not K series, N series engine. This one's done some ridiculous mileage, like something like 10,000 miles or something since 2008. And he was very keen to get this. I've spoken to the chap who owns this, and he was so keen to get one of these rather than just a used TF that would have been around at the time. But that is absolutely immaculate. I don't think he's going to want to sell it though. Ooh, a nice NA MX-5. 96, 97 registration. Looks very sort of straight and standard, apart from these different wheels. Ooh, a leather interior. Is this a special edition or something then? I don't know. Normally you got leather interiors and things, you know, on the special edition ones. But that's nice. Relatively late actually. The production of these finished in 1998, so it's quite a late one. Oh yes, very familiar territory here, viewers. A Mark II Fiesta, and an early one at that. This would be 83, 84. I think they came out late 83, these, from memory. That looks really clean. There's no rust or anything I can see on that. A little bit of touching on the front arch, but that could be just a parking frame or something. Yeah, that might have something different from like a 1.1 Kent engine, I'm not sure. And then we've got its older brother here, this 67 Anglia. That's not the original Kent engine, is it? Not at all. Zetec Blacktop. I think that's a Zetec SE. That's probably got a bit more power than the original one. Although, interestingly, that's got an Essex plate on it, so it might have been registered by Ford UK themselves. Got some, I think, some different seats in this as well. So that's going to be a little bit faster than standard. 5-speed, I think probably a Type 9 gearbox, that one. Does it mean you've got better brakes? I mean, you probably need better brakes, I think. You also need very good brakes in this Honda Civic Type R. I think this is an FN2. I can't remember the designation for these. Yeah, 6-speed, so it would be, I think, a Type R. Yeah, and that looks interesting. Another thing that I've driven, again part of the collection, like the MGB GT 4.6 V8 and the DS, is this Jaguar E-Type. It's a 72, I think, this one. One of the best things about it is that it's got a nice beige leather interior, which I very much liked, and a wooden steering wheel. This was a very, very nice car to drive. The only problem is the pedal box is really, really small. So you've got to wear quite small shoes if you actually want to drive it. But apart from that, it was superb. And yeah, the lack of wing mirrors doesn't particularly help either, but it does make the car look very sort of sleek and elegant. Also rather sleek and elegant is this 1984-85 Ford Capri 2.8 injection. Very, very sort of 80s looking, isn't it? With this sort of white paint colour. Injection special, I think, as I think I've said before, with those seats and the 5-speed gearbox. Then I think we've seen this minor Tourer before. This is even got a correct steering wheel still in it. It's the October 64 facelift wheel. I've driven two minors, viewers, and although they're sort of charming, they're not quite kind of me. There was something else I preferred last time I drove the minor that the gentleman had in the collection, that I think you all know about already. Ooh, a TVR Cerbera. It's interesting, isn't it? Pretty lurid colour that they had back in the day, but someone's fitted a beige leather interior, viewers, and that's good, isn't it? I got to see any wood in there, but that got to do, won't it? It's nice wheels as well. Still got those Ford Fiesta Mark III rear lights though, but that's fine. That's the way the TVRs always were. Always sort of having bits and pieces from other manufacturers really to keep them going, because it's such a small company. But P, so it's the same as the MX-5. It's on 96, 97. Oh yes, now this is one of my favourite cars. Last time I was here, this I think it's in 1982 rather than 83. Alfa Romeo Alfa Sud Sprint. 105 I think relates to the amount of horsepower. It's a 1.5 engine, this one. Like the late Alfa Sud, I think remember TVIs or Cloverleaf. That is such a nice car. Such a survivor. I mean, Alfa Suds and Alfa Sud Sprints were known for being really, really rusty, and this is just not. It's amazing. Lovely period colour as well. I think after Avison was stopped production 83, they were just called for Sprint, and this one just says Sprint on it, so it might be just after the Avison itself was discontinued. 1973-74, MG Midget, I think Mark III these were. Someone's fitted a very nice beige leather interior to this and a wooden steering wheel and gear knob. I approve. Even got a little close plate for the choke lever, like in the old days. I have driven one of these. It was a much earlier one. It was a 68 the one I drove, which didn't have a brake servo. It didn't have synchromesh on first gear, so you have to drive it in a completely different way from like a modern car, really. And we've got a Mark 1 Stag. This is very nice, isn't it, this? I have driven one of these. One of the ways you can straight away tell it's a Mark 1 is because of the two interior lights, one in each pillar, and this has got them. The Mark 2s had one interior light and other things like glove box lights different. This was an auto, like one I drove. They're quite nice cars to drive these. It's just that the steering is just very, very light. You kind of do need the power steering in these because they're quite heavy. They're sort of a rival really for Mercedes-Benz SL, but it just means when you go faster, it's just not the best steering feel. But it's fine. Like back in the day, apart from the engine, which was interesting, they are pretty good cars. We've got this nice Mod Advantage S, which you know, I at some point might have a little driving. I've been offered to have a go. It does make a nice noise. It certainly does. It's not really particularly kind of common channel fare, but nevertheless it's good. This camera's actually coping a bit better with the low light than I thought it would. 1964 Renault 8 Gordini, owned by John, who was the chairman. It's a very, very nice car. This obviously, like, you see it quite a lot at the events because he's the chairman. But he's been looking after that quite well, I think. Mr. Brisden is here somewhere. This is his Ford Granada. I think this is a 1982. It's a 2.8 GL automatic. This one. It has a gear badge on that wing, but a lot of the wings and things are in the process of being replaced. As you can see there, got the typical sort of 80s kind of thing to put in a rear window, and also a local plate to the air. That is a Portsmouth plate from back in the day. It's still a bit of a work in sort of progress, but I mean, he likes it. I mean, Mark II Granadas are one of the best cars Ford ever made, so you know, it's not really a bit of a problem, is it? And next we've got some more classic Fords. A couple of Mark 1 Escort 2 doors. This one's been heavily modified. I don't know what this would have started life as originally, but it's not that now. It's still got a 4-speed gearbox in it though, so that's retained some originality. Then we've got the later type here, this Mexico, and it's a very nice one as well. That is so clean. I don't want to even go too near it in case I damage it or anything. Got a replica dealer sticker in there from where it would have been sold in sort of 73, 74 on an M. I can't remember the name of this colour now, I've forgotten, but that's very, very nice. It's very nice. I don't quite know if those are the original alloys, but they might be actually. A bit of steels actually. That's very nice. And we've got this thing which is always a bit of a catastrophe. The records say that this is an S-type, but it's from 71, and you know, both those things might be wrong. It looks like a 3.8 Series 1 Roadster, but I mean, somebody in the comment section below tell me if this is, I don't know, a replica or something. Everything looks sort of correct on it to me. But there we go, it's very nice to see. Sorry, no, it's a 4.2, not a 3.8. And then we've got this very, very late Volkswagen, I think these were called the T2 models, although I just know them as a bay window. The very, very late ones like this is on a 57 plate, this would have been a sort of personal import. They had I think a water-cooled engine, which is in the front, I think, in these. As you can see by this big sort of radiator. And I think the last year of production for these in South America somewhere was 2013, which is absolutely insane. But what's a sale? Call 07581 077 611. superb. That's definitely worth consideration. It's not my kind of thing, but there you go. This though is my kind of thing. This Wolseley is absolutely beautiful. I've seen it at a number of local events to this area. It's a 1970, I believe. It's the 1660, in the same family as the Austin, Cambridge, and Morris, Oxford, and Riley 472, and everything else. As you can see there, this is such nice condition. I think the owners bought it quite recently from memory. Sometimes there's information plaques there. And we've got this MGB roadster that's still here, which is always good to see. Thank you. Still here with the appropriate plate on it. I think it's about 78 or something from memory. But yeah, it looks good. Another TVR here. This is an early one. I think this is an S2. We've got some Ford bits on this. I mean, those are straight out of like a Mark 1 Granada, actually, those door handles. They use them on the Capris, you can see a little bit later, but they are painted differently. And we got some Ford Escort. I think they're a Mark 4 rear lights. Driven the Mark 4 Escort, actually. That'll be on the channel at some point. And I very much appreciate these original replica dealer plates with the old Farnham 252 area code on there. So on a G, it'll be 89 to 90, and a Reliance Sabre 6. Wow! Now this is special, isn't it? Look at this. I can't remember if the Sabre 6 is actually what engine they used before the Scimitars, I think, that came out around '64. I think the original Scimitar came out.
Okay. Yes.
Isn't that just amazing? Yeah, 6-cylinder engine. Superb. Right, I think we've only got one more section actually here, viewers. It's not the longest of the slightly Shambolic shuffles, this one, because you know, weekday evening you don't get as many people coming out as at the weekend. Original Boxster. Imagine that's kind of late 90s, early 2000s, isn't it? I think the facelifted ones have the clear indicators. These ones have the fried egg headlamps, I think they're called. It's only a 5-speed. Is this even an S, or is it just like an original 2.5? No, it's probably just an original 2.5. I know it's got a personal plate on it, but it still looks pretty good. I mean, I quite like that. I'd like to have a go on one of these at some point. We've even got CD storage on the dashboard there. Oh, and no aircon. I suppose you don't need it, do you? And more stag action. See, the interior lights have been moved off the pillars, so this must be a later one. Oh yes, it's a Mark II for sure. It's on an N, so 74, 75. This one's a manual with overdrive. I think all the manual stags are overdrive. Some nice, fresh-looking British Leyland pedal rubbers on that. That's really nice. Old English White, I think the name of this colour. Yeah, it's a very pretty car. Also quite pretty is this 66 MGB. You can see the contrast between this and the later sort of 78 car. Yeah, actually mechanically sort of different in terms of like gearboxes and brake servos. Even the overdrive's different on the earlier as opposed to the later cars. But we've got this sort of classic looking dash. The later ones, I still like them, but I think many of you would sort of prefer the look of these earlier ones. But then we've got this 2018 Chevy Corvette. Now they were sold officially over here. The dealerships I'm aware of that sold these, but there's one in Manchester, there's one in Virginia Water in Surrey. They were all imported in left-hand drive. And bizarrely, I've been offered one of these for review. Yeah, it's like the Aston Martin. It's not the typical thing that I would do. And actually, this has got a 7-speed manual in it. It's one of only 2 cars, the other was one of the 911 generations, that have a 7-speed manual. They're quite fast. I think it's a bit, you know, faster than something like, I don't know, a Daewoo Lanos or something like that, whatever I sort of normally cover. Look at this. It's just like a Mark V Fiesta that's been very heavily modified. Goodness me, I bet that's actually pretty good around a racing circuit like that. Hello to M5_BDL on Instagram. I don't know why my camera's behaving badly. And then we've got this little Fury thing, which I can't remember anything about this. I think I've seen it before somewhere, but let's have a look inside and see if we can spot any parts that we recognise from somewhere else. No, not really. It's all sort of quite bespoke. I don't know what this is at all, actually. It's one of these things you build at home, isn't it? Thank you very much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video and leave a comment below. We shall be back at Heath hopefully on the 28th. And we shall see you again very soon. In fact, if I've released the video at the right time, later on today for some more incorrect information.